SD Works tried to work over Van Vleuten before the finale with the most composed finish on the Mur de Huy that I think I've ever seen. This is La Flèche Wallonne women's race, 133.4 kilometers. They do 2 laps of the Mur de Huy. They also have the Côte de Cherave, which is a pretty hard climb actually, like 1400 meters at 8%, about 6 Ks from the finish. This race has been dominated by the now retired Anna van der Breggen, who's in the car for SD Works. She's won the last 7 editions. FDJ have Brody Chapman, Muzic, Cavalli here, who just won Amstel Gold Race. Movistar, obviously riding for Annemiek van Vleuten, and SD Works got Vollering and Mulman Pasio, while second last year on a very quick time, Kasia Niewiadoma with strong teammates in the break. Amir Lusik, Elise Shabi, who they recruited this year, and everyone's pretty much represented in this breakaway except FDJ, who have Cavalli as their leader, as I said. So they were set to chase for a lot of this day. This is the penultimate or the first ascent of the Mur de Huy. Castelline on Planta Pura. Watch out for her in the breakaway, or in the future rather. She was incredibly strong today. It was Brody Chapman, the Australian, controlling proceedings for an inordinate amount of time. You can actually see over that first ascent of the Mur de Huy, she'd created a bit of a thinning of the bunch. She was helped by Muzic, French national champion, whilst Canyon Schramm got progressively more and more lent on in the breakaway, and the gap went from 150 to 90 to 51 seconds to 43 seconds, and it was tumbling whilst riders were sitting on that breakaway, not hopeful that they could actually beat the Canyon Schramm riders in that break. Even Movistar dropped back for Annemiek van Vleuten when the gap was 31 seconds, 15 Ks to go. Jelena Erich to pace the peloton to catch up to that breakaway she had been in. So as they hit the Côte de Cherave, 100% chance the break was being caught. It was Castelline on this 1300 meter 8% climb that looked very, very strong, but she was eventually caught by Demi Follering, who was attacking for SD Works, and SD Works were trying to use their strength in numbers to work over other isolated team leaders like Lippert, like Niewiadoma, and particularly like Annemiek van Vleuten, who was just clinging on to this group after the Demi Follering attack. It levels out, and she's looking for the counterattack. They have multiple riders in the group, Niamh Fisher-Black and Ashley Moolman-Pasio, and it's Ashley Moolman who counters with 6 Ks to go as this climb is leveled off. So SD Works, I mean, this is the right tactics. If you've got the numbers, use them, because on the Mur de Huy they're less useful, and they're forcing Annemiek van Vleuten to chase, burning energy before that final climb. Cavalli, in fact, for FDJ, was the rider marking AVV. So that comes back. But Niewiadoma had been dropped. As I said, incredibly strong last year, really pushed Van der Breggen. She was dropped on the Cherave climb, and it's Niamh Fisher-Black, the next counter, with 3 Ks to go. She's bridged across to by Liana Lippert, Castelline, who I've mentioned for the 3rd time, and finally, for Van Vleuten, a teammate, Sierra bridges across, neutralizes that move, and AVV crucially is able to rest in the last 3 Ks, or 2 Ks rather, in the run into the Mur de Huy, putting her remaining teammates on the front to do a lead out. She's not as punchy probably as Demi Follering or Lippert, so she, as expected, was going to light this climb up from the base, extend the effort to the full 3.5 minutes full gas, and maybe try and crack the riders on the steepest part. In the middle, it levels off in the last 150 meters. You see she's marked here by Moolman, Lippert, Demi Follering, and Cavalli's the 5th rider, half inch shot on the right-hand side. Anna van der Breggen won last year in a similar way. She literally just went to the front of the base of the climb and just started drilling it. AVV, I guess, a little bit more conscious that she has riders on her wheel. AVDB didn't accelerate as early as Van Vleuten did, which is coming up through a really steep section, this left-hand turn, and you can see the difference. And Annemiek van Vleuten's actually riding a pretty high cadence out of the saddle. I wonder what her gearing was, whereas Cavalli out of the saddle but a much lower cadence, seeming to be just riding within herself. And that was the story of this Mur de Huy, actually. Marta Cavalli literally had ice in her veins on this climb. She let Van Vleuten go up the road, confident she could bridge it back, went wide round the corners, was like 10-15 meter gap, not a problem. This was like Alaphilippe last year when Roglic launched really, really early and he just clawed him back late. Cavalli here does the same thing, looks back, sees she's got Vollering under pressure, goes to AVV, mouth closed, 250 meters to go. Van Vleuten's all across the road on this 13% section, and already, as long as Cavalli doesn't stuff it up or gets chopped by AVV, she's probably going to win. She's looking incredibly calm. She's on top of her gear and looks like she wants to go even faster. She's looking back all the time, seeing where's Vollering or SD works, because it's almost like she felt Van Vleuten was going too slowly and she was more worried they would get caught and countered by Vollering. 150 meters to go. She still doesn't draw alongside, and this is what Niewiadoma did last year and made the mistake. She almost was as strong as Van der Breggen but attacked her too early, whereas Cavalli just waits and waits and waits and waits until it levels off, knows that she's probably faster than AVV, and AVV's done all the work and accelerated in the middle of this climb, and finally goes past her as it levels off with about 75 meters to go, gets down into the saddle, powers away, and wins this race easily. The winner of Amstel Gold Race the other week, in a bit of a coup when she attacked at the right time on the flat on the Cauberg. Today, just way too strong, as she shows in the post-up. 24 years old, coming into her peak. Cavalli is looking unbelievable. Can't wait to see her at Liège-Bastogne-Liège this weekend, but now she will really have a target on her back. Wins La Flèche Wallonne ahead of Van Vleuten and Vollering, Mullen, Pazio, Longoborghini, Lippert, Dobel, Hickok, Castelline 8th. Incredible performance. Then Sant-Esteban and Royackers rounding out the top 10. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I think Liège is going to be very interesting this weekend, with SD works with numbers, Van Vleuten looking pretty good but not immortal, and Cavalli, another big superstar on the rise.